12 months, 12 short films, 0 excuses. My first challenge for BlackRoad Studios, making an entire movie, script to finish film, completely alone. If you think that sounds impossible, stick around because I'm going to break down how I plan to do it. Welcome back to BlackRoad Studios. This is it, the official start of the 12 shorts and 12 month series. I spun the wheel of challenges and it landed on the most terrifying yet potentially rewarding challenge to make a film entirely on your own. This challenge was actually submitted by my good friend Emily, and if you want to add any other challenges to the spin wheel, be sure to drop them in the comments down below. So, to make a film entirely solo. No crew, no actors, except me, and a camera. It's going to be tough, but the goal of this channel is to prove that limitations and crew size don't define creativity. When you have 0 crew, you have to be smart. You can't shoot elaborate action sequences or crowd scenes. The solution lies in contained concepts and singular characters. I immediately went back and looked at films that thrive on this limitation. I thought about films like Buried with Ryan Reynolds, one man, one location. A coffin, or Phone Booth with Colin Farrell, mostly one location, driving the tension purely through performance and dialogue. These films work because the constraints amplify the drama. They force the writer to focus entirely on the psychology of the character and the immediacy of their situation. The goal isn't to just make a film alone, but maybe to make a film where solitude is the point. My first thoughts, and probably yours too, were all of the easy outs. The last man alive trope. No, the protagonist wandering through an empty cityscape. Something like this requires massive sets or empty locations or something barren like the wilderness. Plus, it's been done 1,000 times. I'd like to focus on something relatable and intensely personal. To me, this challenge should be about character and depth, not spectacle. So I'm leaning into the idea of someone who feels unseen. Maybe someone living a normal life but struggling profoundly with isolation. Or maybe they're mute and they only have their thoughts. Maybe they look completely fine on the surface, but they have a secret they can't quite express. The challenge becomes, how do I dramatize feeling invisible? It's not about being the last person on Earth. Maybe it should be about being the person that no one notices. Maybe they don't want to be noticed. I think the interesting hook is, where does this person find their escape? What's their true connection? We can look at various elements to explore this. Maybe something like online gaming. That's a compelling one to think about. Maybe they like to explore VR. I'm also considering the option of someone like a daydreamer and imagining scenarios where they're the hero or they get to live a different life, but that's far from their reality. In the real world, this character is a ghost. But I really like the idea of exploring a different reality from things that you've seen. They could have a second life where they have status and relationships and a purpose that their physical life lacks. The film could be entirely focused on the tension between these two realities. Crucially, a setup like this keeps the physical filming locations relatively contained while allowing for massive internal and narrative scope through things like voiceover, camera angles, and sound design. It feels like it's a way to tell a big story with minimal resources. This month will be dedicated to creating the tightest, most focused film of my life, and one hopefully I'll be comfortable acting in too. The creative limitations are only one part of this story. The technical aspects of this film will be a whole other challenge. I'll have to figure that out somewhere between pre-production all the way up to when I can actually get on set. I'm somehow going to have to be learning how to be my own camera operator, boom operator, and even my own director. Thankfully, I do have access to some equipment that will help add some visual character to the film and not just rely entirely on the tripod, but I'll be discussing that in the next video. It's not going to be easy, but the goal of BlackRoad Studios is to turn limitations into creative opportunities. So by the end of the month, I'll have a finished film, and I'll be sharing that film with you as well as how I created it. Everything that worked and everything that didn't, and every single struggle and win along the way. So if that's something you'd be interested in seeing, please consider subscribing to follow along with this film as well as the other shorts that are coming in the 12 shorts of the 12-month journey for 2026. Let me know in the comments, how would you approach making a film on your own? What story would you write about? What do you think will be my biggest struggle making this film? And what is your favorite film with a single character? To be honest, I need all the inspiration I can get. See you in the next one. And cut.